Summary of the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now is a spiritual guide that teaches us how to find peace in the present moment. It encourages readers to move away from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future to living fully in the now. They think that they're in their bodies and experiencing life, but really, their minds are running the show. Our minds play tricks on us and make us feel like there's all these different things that we need in order to be happy. In Chapter 3, he talks about how we have to be aware of our ego and how it can keep us from being in the present. He defines the ego as the sense of being in a body and having a separate identity from everyone else. And he says that the ego is constantly trying to protect itself. Eckhart says that when we're afraid of being alone, we tend to cling to people and try to control them. And I think this is one of the most important parts of the book, because pain is something that all of us experience, and it can be really difficult to deal with. But Eckhart offers some really helpful insights that can help us all cope with pain in a better way. He says that when we're present, we're able to see the world around us more clearly. If you like this video, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos on my channel. We can see the beauty in everyday things and the interconnectedness of all things. When we're present, we're also able to connect with others more deeply. We're able to be more compassionate and understanding, and that leads to more fulfilling relationships. And when we're present, we're able to create a life that we're excited about. We're able to pursue our passions and make a difference in the world. The key, he says, is to remember that we already have everything we need to create the life we want. We just need to be present to see it. In Chapter 7, he says that pain can be both physical and emotional. Physical pain is easy to understand. It's the pain we feel when we're injured or sick. Emotional pain is a little more complicated. It's the pain we feel when we experience loss, rejection, or disappointment. Eckhart says that emotional pain is often worse than physical pain because it's harder to escape. We can't take medication to make it go away. The only way to stop feeling emotional pain is to face it and work through it. But this can be really hard to do, especially when we're not sure what's causing the pain. We might become jealous or possessive or start picking fights. All of this comes from a place of fear, and it pushes people away. Instead, he encourages us to embrace our aloneness and to see it as a source of strength. When we're comfortable being alone, we're able to be more authentic and open in our relationships. We're not afraid of losing people because we know that we'll be okay no matter what. It holds on to beliefs about who we are and what we should be doing, and it resists anything that threatens to change those beliefs. For example, if someone criticizes our work, our ego might tell us that we're not good enough. He says that when we try to change the way things are, we create pain for ourselves. For example, if we're in a relationship that we don't like, we might try to make it better by talking to our partner or going to therapy. But if we can't change the situation, we might start to feel pain. The same is true in our careers, finances, and health. When things don't go the way we want, we might start to feel pain. Eckhart says that the only way to stop feeling this pain is to accept the present moment. This doesn't mean giving up or stopping trying. It just means letting go of our resistance to what is. When we can do this, we can find peace in the midst of pain. Or if we don't get invited to a party, our ego might tell us that we're not popular. When these thoughts arise, Eckhart says that we shouldn't identify with them or believe that they're true. Instead, we should observe them without judgment and let them pass like clouds in the sky. This is a hard thing to do, because most of the time we just get swept up in the ego's stories and we end up believing them. And we spend our entire lives searching for them, but they don't actually bring us any lasting joy. He explains that this constant mental chatter comes from identification with the mind. Eckhart explains that most of the time we approach our relationships with expectations and judgments. We expect our partners, friends, and family members to behave in certain ways, and we get upset when they do and meet our expectations. But when we're present, we're able to let go of our expectations and connect with others on a deeper level. We start to see them as individuals with their own unique perspectives and experiences. And this allows us to have more meaningful and fulfilling relationships. For example, instead of getting angry at your partner for forgetting to do something that you asked them to do, you can take a deep breath and remember that they're just a human being trying their best. You can approach them with curiosity and compassion and ask questions to understand their perspective. This might lead to a deeper conversation and a stronger bond between you. Our thoughts control us instead of the other way around. When we think we are our thoughts, we become very reactive and emotional. Eckhart suggests that we can overcome this by learning to see our thoughts as just that, thoughts. They're not facts or commands. They're just mental events that happen in our brains. This takes practice, but over time, it becomes easier. When we realize that we're not our thoughts, we can start to detach from them and to choose which ones to follow. For example, if we have a negative thought, we can choose not to believe it or act on it. And once we've mastered this, we can start to transform our relationships. Instead, he says, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And he challenges us to stop being fooled by our thoughts and feelings, and to instead turn our attention to the physical world around us. That's how we can start to find peace. But it's not as simple as just telling you to live in the moment, because he explains that the now is actually an incredibly complex concept. So throughout the book, he explores the depths of our consciousness and explains how we can all find enlightenment if we simply know how to access it. So let's get into some of my favorite quotes and lessons from this book. In Chapter 1, Eckhart introduces this idea that most people live in their minds. Eckhart goes on to explain in Chapter 2 that in order to do this, we have to learn to be fully present. We have to stop letting our minds wander to the past or the future. When we allow our minds to wander, we enter a state called the past or future mode. In this mode, we forget that we're even in the present at all. We might dwell on past mistakes or worry about what might happen in the future. And in those moments, we actually feel disconnected from reality. That's when we feel the strongest desires and fears that drive us to want to change the way things are. And Eckhart points out that this desire to change everything other than the now is the root cause of all suffering. It creates stress and tension and makes us feel unhappy with the way things are. Even when things are going well, we still want more. So the key to finding happiness, according to Eckhart, is to stay present and to savor every moment of our lives, no matter what's happening. But staying present isn't always easy. Chapter 6 explores the idea that our fear of being alone can actually push people away. So in Chapter 4, he dives deeper into how we can begin to quiet the constant chatter of our mind so that we can find peace. Chapter 5 is all about transforming our relationships by becoming more present. But sometimes connecting with others can be challenging. The next few chapters deal with pain and how to transcend it. So in Chapter 8, Eckhart dives deeper into this idea that much of our emotional pain comes from our resistance to accepting the present moment. And finally, in Chapter 9, Eckhart brings all of these ideas together and shows us how they can help us create a life that we are excited about. Thank you guys for watching.